She said that American soccer fans, most of them aren't smart. They don't know the game. They don't understand.
Gio.
That guy Gazpacho.
Forbes can take a lame gorilla, okay?
It's like, did you know that Arsenal died?
He's got me buzzing.
Up the top. It's hard to up him anyway.
I'm just not even gonna comment on that. Welcome back to another episode of Footy with the boys. Footy con el niños for all of our Spanish listeners.
It's a little
Nick,
pervy.
is that correct to say
Los
that?
Niños?
I don't want to talk about
Los Chicos?
with you guys. So. This is a bad start. Feels perfect.
Right.
Football con los chicos.
Duolingo is up my ass about doing lessons, so I figured I'd get him out of the way to intro the pod. Mike, with the Hogwarts or Loyola of Chicago scarf there, which one is it?
Detroit City FC. Dame la DCFC. Let's do a little Spanish. Let's keep it going.
I heard they are the Hogwarts of the Midwest. If Quidditch was soccer. Nick, what does your hat say there? Does that go with our Duolingo theme here?
That is a Millonarios hat from La Liga Posto One, Colombia's top division. Shout out to the boys. Gift from the grandpa. So shout out Gramps. And a little San Jose Earthquakes jersey. Making some moves in the transfer window so far. So representing the roots today.
Yep. No more Kate Cowell for the San Jose Earthquakes, but MLS is starting soon. I'll touch on that a little bit later. It's an actual somewhat exciting year now.
Yeah, for real.
With the moves that MLS has been making, it is maybe not the crazy amount of moves you would have expected. With Messi coming in and thinking there was going to be more roster rule changes, but certainly something to look out for. But another league has not started, but started back up into the knockouts, and that is the Champions. We started it.
Can we get a did champions from all three of you, please?
I already did mine.
These
are the champions. All right. Now that we've embarrassed ourselves online enough, we can get into the game, and it was some Titans playing today. It was Real Madrid and Man City, and they both did what you expect Real Madrid and Man City to do in the Champions League, and that is win. Boys, while I was watching Man City Copenhagen in my office, I was thinking, damn, if only Manchester United did not mess this up, we could have had a Manchester derby in the Champions League. That would have been just free content for the pod, but Copenhagen here, 3-1. Any surprises you saw from either of these ones?
You can't play a team from your own country in the first round, right? Is that a thing? Or is that wrong?
Yeah, I think that actually is true. So
I think that's, so no derby there. I thought, what is it, Leipzig or whatever? I thought they got screwed. I thought Benjamin Sesko's goal was very much onside. So, yes, Real Madrid won, but hard done there by Leipzig. IMO.
I actually watched a couple seconds of Man City Copenhagen because it was on in Subway when I got my lunch. I can confirm that Holland is in fact a big man.
yeah, he's big.
He's big and he's superhuman. I don't know if you guys saw that miss he had, but he had a side volley attempt or a scissor kick attempt where he jumped about 10 feet into the air. It was absolutely insane. So the biggest surprise of that match was that he didn't score. But Man City handled business in Man City fashion. I agree with you, Nick. I don't think that Sesko was offside in that goal, but I did watch it back and it looked like Lunin might have been fouled on that play.
No.
But that's not the reasoning they gave. You're right. They gave the offside. Yeah. So, yeah, VAR Madrid for sure. But the Brahim Diaz goal was absolutely class, stepping in for Jude Bellingham being out. that was a hell of a goal. Great to have the Champions League back. Always fun to watch.
Yep.
Next
And
week.
Brahim Diaz, beautiful goal. The former AC Milan man. And going to the other side of Milan is our other headline here is Mehdi Taremi, the Iranian striker who was targeted this summer by AC Milan and was very close to signing, is now agreeing to a contract with Inter Milan, their rival, in the summer. So Mehdi Taremi going over to Inter, is this maybe a sign that they're going to be getting rid of Martinez in a big money move? Are they going to be getting rid of a Marcus Thuram? Seems like if you already have two prolific strikers, is Taremi really needed here, Mike?
Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of what I was thinking. It seems like that their striker locker room is pretty full already. Marko Arnautovic is on a loan as well with a permanent deal coming this summer. And he's not the level of these three guys, but he's still a quality striker. Alexis Sanchez is still there. Believe his contract is up. So it's a crowded room. And it kind of seems like this is either a move to have a different profile of striker because he is such a target man where Lautaro and Marcus Thuram are ball dominant. So different personnel, or they're expecting one of these guys to move on in a big deal. That's what it seems like to me.
Yep. I think certainly with Italian soccer, they need as much money to help their finances as they can. So I wouldn't put anything out of the realm of them selling some of those big names. And obviously bringing in a Taremi here who has performed well for Porto for quite a while, performed well for Iran internationally. Nick, is this just Inter Milan strategy, you think? Just AC Milan can't close a deal with somebody and Inter Milan goes, oh, fuck it, we'll go grab him. It happened with Thuram. They were targeting him pretty hard, and then now Taremi as well. It's kind of a good prospecting strategy.
Just be credit to like Milan must be the dopest place to live in the world. So they're like, hey, we can't go to AC, let's go to Inter. So screw it. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I like the move. Even if they don't sell a guy, Alexis is gone. Arnautovic is a body, so I don't. They can play with two strikers, and you need bodies in that place. They're playing in multiple competitions. I don't. I don't hate it. Regardless, I do think they'll sell probably Lautaro, but who knows? Also, they brought in Zielinski too, I believe, on a free. So
Yeah.
big moves by them early. That's smart business, I'd say.
Yep, the early deals, the budget deals, but big shout out to Lautaro Martinez. Certainly has earned a huge move. Obviously, Inter Milan is a giant in their own right, and right now leading Serie A. But man, he is on fire. I don't think he gets as much publicity because it is in Serie A, where it's not a Premier League. It's not some crazy media. I think Serie A is a bit behind in terms of media coverage of their players and getting the hype that is deserved. But Lautaro Martinez is having one of the, if not the best seasons for a striker in Europe right now. We move to a man that we've already talked about and is also having another amazing season. It is Erling Haaland and Manchester City in our first featured game, and they'll be going up against the prolific striker, Nico Jackson and Chelsea. This is a game that, man, Chelsea kind of dropped the ball in, I feel like their form of last game. They were able to sneak it out, but they just didn't look like they were really the team that should win and really showed their quality. This seems like a game that Chelsea might get sobered up a bit. Mike, if you're City here, are you licking your chops at this? It's a Big Six matchup, but you're on insane form, and Chelsea's sneaking out against Crystal Palace.
Yeah, man, you're licking your chops. And if you're Man City, I feel like they might treat this as a rotation game. I feel like they might be that confident
That's
that they're going to get.
disrespectful. Do not.
It's disrespectful, but it's the truth, man. I mean, Jack Grealish picks up the little injury today in Champions League, and they started essentially their best 11. Jasko Gvardiol didn't play, but every player on that team was a starter on any given day. So a little rotation, wouldn't be surprised. And the way that Chelsea's been leaking in goals, against Wolves, against Liverpool. They even conceded against Crystal Palace, who hasn't been able to find anything without Eze or Elise. There's going to be a lot going in. I have a feeling. And they relied on midfielders to score against Crystal Palace. That's how desperate they got. That's not going to work against Manchester City. Yeah, I think it's give them 3 points already. I don't even know if we need to see this one out.
The disrespect is just absurd coming from you. It's still a Big Six matchup. And Nick, from the Chelsea side, Man City are hitting on everything. So I don't think it's something that you go into this expecting much. But Chelsea is still a big side, and they're not in the worst form. Yes, they haven't looked super convincing, but they are not as woeful as we've seen them at times. Is this a game where Poach gets his boys right here for a draw?
I don't know. It's it's harsh. I think it's harsh what Mike said. That rotation. I mean, even a rotated Man City side, by the way, is still a very strong one. But I don't know about that. Maybe a player or two gets a rest. Maybe De Bruyne gets 60 minutes instead of the full 90. But honestly, if you're Chelsea, I don't think like how can you possibly feel worse about your team, you know? Like there's no confidence going in. I don't think there's any expectations in this game. And I mean, if you remember, I don't know if it was at the Emirates or over at Chelsea, but 2-2 draw versus Arsenal early in the season. You know, Arsenal and Man City play a similar brand of football. Um, he, I mean, regardless that both of their goals were bullshit, but Poch did get his tactics right that day. It was difficult to build through the middle and cause him a lot of frustrations. And if it wasn't for Chelsea individual mistakes, we probably don't get the late draw anyways. So I don't know. I think you can have a little bit of hope. I don't think it's completely lost. Like you can't possibly feel worse than you're already feeling if you're a Chelsea fan. Like they're already at the bottom. Like now that Man U's picking up at least a little bit of form, Chelsea is once again at the cellar of the Big Six. And I think you like what do you have to lose in this game? You know what I mean? So Man City should win. They should. But if you're Chelsea, I mean, go out. You have some good players. Excited for Malo Gusto versus Doku. I think that'll be a big test for the boy. And we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think this does have a chance to get ugly, and that might be the only thing they have to lose. Because I think you made a good point there. They don't have any expectation on this, and that is a bit dangerous because they can play there without really anything holding them back, any type of crazy nerves of we need to win this one. Nobody's expecting them to win this, so if they lose, okay, yeah, that's expected. And if they win, it's a huge confidence boost to them. Even if they get a draw, that's a good result for them. And I'm sure will get them a lot of flowers from the media of a good performance there. So nothing to lose for Chelsea. Man City though is Thanos right now, and they're snapping the shit out of every team they play against. So we'll see who they start. If it is a bench squad, I think obviously Chelsea will be feeling a little bit nicer about their chances. To the other
Shout out
side
to
of Manchester.
Mike's IG reel with Thanos. Just flashback to
Yeah, a little
shout out to the boy for the good work.
Fucking beautiful.
Also, Cole Palmer revenge game, by the way.
Cole Palmer revenge game, I'm sure, is the headline of this one.
I don't know.
Certainly.
Did you mean Cole Palmer? Boo.
We're gonna cut that and post off that. That shouldn't make it in. We're gonna just skip that and move straight into Manchester United. 3 straight wins, boys. It has not always been pretty, but 3 straight wins is 3 straight wins, and they find themselves going up against Luton Town. I would really like to say that Manchester United, on great form of winning 3 in a row, unbeaten in 4, get this done. But there's just a piece of me that, as an Everton fan, I'm like, oh motherfucker, they're gonna fuck this up for Everton in some way. Mike, from a Man U perspective, how nervous are you that, yeah, we might fuck this up? That's a very Manchester United thing to do.
I don't think they're nervous. I think they're delusional enough. Their manager definitely is, that they've convinced themselves that the win this past weekend was well deserved and a great success. So they're coming off that Aston Villa victory, thinking they're on top of the world for sure. Eric Ten Hag is juicing these boys up, giving them all sorts of confidence. The scary thing though is what Luton's going to come out. Is it going to be Luton that loses against Sheffield, or is it Luton that scores 4 goals against Brighton and puts up 3 against Newcastle? Like, I'm not really sure. They are going either way. Yeah, I think this game could be kind of close. I think you're right. Man U will have enough to see one out here. The midfield is going to be too dominant for Luton. I think Ross Barkley will have his chances to put a mark on the game, but he's going to get outrun by Kobe Manu and Casemiro blocking shit up. So I think it's going to be a Man U victory. I really do. And they're going to put a little pressure on Villa this week.
Yeah. And Nick, Man U, I think, will come in with that confidence. Luton Town, obviously, off of a somewhat demoralizing loss to Sheffield United. But Luton Town here, I think you just try and make it a shit show and see what happens. Because although Manchester United have been starting to find some form in attack with Højlund getting goals, Luton Town have also been getting goals. And I don't think either defenses are anything inspiring. Luton Town allowing 3 to Sheffield, 4 to Newcastle, and Manchester United has been leaking goals all year. For Luton Town, are you just throwing shit at the fan and seeing what sticks here and just going for chaos and hope you come out on top?
At the very start of the year, Rob Edwards said, we're going to play our brand of football in the Premier League. And credit to him. I mean, he's above the relegation zone, so that's an achievement in its own right. But he has stuck to his word. Luton has played their ball the entire year, attacking wingbacks. Their 2 strikers up top, physical, dominating. Like, it's been impressive to see him stick with what's been going, and I don't think they try to muck it up. I think they stick with their identity. It's gotten them to a point where I think they can feel confident about themselves, which feels weird for a team that only has 5 victories on the season. But I do think they have a sense of confidence and a sense of, like, they were definitely disappointed to lose to Sheffield. I think they were at the point where they expect to beat a team like Sheffield, which I don't think is something you could say coming into the season if you just look at the championship standings from last year. So I actually think Luton has a great chance. And to Mike's point about the midfield, yes, Kobe Manu and Casemiro are better players than what Luton has on quality, but Ross Barkley is the most informed player of the bunch of them. And honestly, in that Villa game, I know they won, but they weren't clogging up the spaces. That was a back and forth game that Villa just didn't take their chances. So I could see Ross Barkley making a decisive moment. I could see one of these wingbacks getting in behind the Man U attack or fullback. So I think anything can happen. It's at your home ground, which has been talked about a lot in the Prem. Try and make it uncomfortable if you're the fans for Man U to play at. I think you have a real chance.
Yeah. I think as an Everton
Wrong.
fan, I
Wrong.
I think as an Everton fan, although we have some Trump wrongs in the crowd, it feels very uneasy to have to rely on Manchester United to get a result against anyone. But if there was any time of the year to have to rely on Manchester United to get a result for your club, this is probably the best time to do so. And that's exactly what gets into our next game is a game that I'm pretty confident about for Everton. It is Everton versus Crystal Palace. Obviously, Crystal Palace pushed Chelsea a bit last week, but we have talked for, 5-6 weeks in a row about how they just are not playing well defensively. They've been leaking goals all season. Everton have not been clinical with. I mean, I don't think there's a single time you could have been like, "Oh my God, Everton! What a clinical finish! What an amazing clinical team there!" But they can still score. Sean Dyche can get those boys up for a game, and this seems like a game that Sean Dyche's boys will be definitely getting up for. This seems like a big opportunity, Mike. Is that how you see it here? A must win?
This is a must win. And it's not just a must win for Everton, it's a must win for Crystal Palace. I'm sure they're looking at it the same way.
Absolutely.
Because they've just been, oh my goodness, so beaten down, trodden on. And so have we. But from the Everton perspective, we've got to win this game. This is going to suit us. The one thing that scares me, we've beat them twice already this season. Hard to beat a team 3 times. Just ask West Ham when they played Arsenal last week. Yikes. We're not going to get 6-0'd, but it's going to be a tight one. The benefit for us for sure is their best attacking talent is out, needless to say. And we have most of our guys back. I think Onana will probably start for us, so that's a huge addition. Decore is still going to be out, but we'll probably have Jack Harrison or somebody slot into that 10 role. We're going to have chances this game, which is something we haven't had in weeks. So hopefully Dom's got on his shooting boots. Hopefully Beto has on some Vaseline on that forehead, because I'm expecting at least one to go in, and I don't expect more than one to go in. So hopefully we're rock solid in the back. Nick, is my confidence, is it valid?
I didn't think you sounded confident. I think
It was
it's a must
hopeful
win
at
for both
best.
teams.
Yeah, you might be right.
I think it's a must win for both teams. I'm backing the boys. Mikolenko 1-0.
Vitale.
That would be a very Everton win. I think, boy, if Everton lose this, I mean, this is one of the opportunities that you truly feel that is 50-50 for Everton to get a win. If you're not getting points here, although Luton Town dropped against Sheffield, you're missing out on your opportunities, and you have nobody to blame but yourself if you're ending up getting relegated by not winning these ones. So throw the kitchen sink at it, see what happens. It's a must win for Everton this weekend versus Crystal Palace. Brentford versus Liverpool is our next game, and Nick, Ivan Toney could become an Arsenal legend before he's even stepped foot at the Emirates wearing that Gunners kit. If he were to come up big here and help out Arsenal in that title race, what are the odds that you think that ends up happening with the form Liverpool are in?
I'm feeling the underdogs this week. I don't know. It's just something in my gut. I think Brentford has a decent chance. I think they've been playing great ball since Tony's been back. I'm expecting Mbomo to start now that he's fully incorporated back in the team. They were a dangerous combo for the time they played together, so I'm expecting that to continue. Hopefully, Yohan Weasley even gets some game time after coming back from his duty with Congo. So, listen, I mean, they shouldn't win. They're the underdogs for a reason. Liverpool's had a fantastic year, but despite the recent form that's looked a little hot and cold, I think just based on their style of play, Brentford has looked pretty good. So, obviously, backing the bees, backing Thomas Frank. You guys know how I feel about him, quality manager, and I think there's a decent chance. I don't hate it.
I think at very minimum, both teams are certainly going to score in this one. I don't think it's going to be any type of a defensive bout for this one. But what might be a defensive bout is the staunchly defensive Spurs with their line that only goes up to the halfway, and Wolves who really only have defensive talent, right? Now this one is going to be another shootout here. Tottenham versus Wolves. Big Ange, high line. Wolves attackers running in behind. Son is back. Richarlison's in form. Is this a goal fest here, Producer P? Are you seeing Wolves and Tottenham just fucking decking it out?
We're hungry, bro. We want to fucking eat. You know, I've been watching highlights all week. I haven't, and I think that this is the week that we really pull it up. We pull out and we fucking get on the top half of the table. I'm just saying it.
Palmer
Out there.
confirmed pulling out. Well done.
Don't pull out.
For
Always.
pulling out. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Would any of you guys be shocked if Wolves were to pull out like a 4-3 win here?
Yeah. Yeah, I would.
Fuck
Is it
you.
Mateus Cunha? Isn't Cunha still out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a
And
little
Sonny's
shocking.
back.
Yeah, I don't know. Gee.
Nah, bro. Sonny's
I wouldn't be that shocked.
got a virus or something. I don't fucking know. He's gonna have a flu.
Fuck it. I ride with Palmer. Palmer knows something here.
Yeah.
Bro,
Ride
I
with the
can
boy.
feel
Come
it in
on.
my bones. My bones never lie to me.
I believe you've
I
said
heard
that
that
phrase
before.
like 10 different times, and I
Multiple
don't know if
times.
they've ever been right.
They're always right, bro. That's how I knew the Super Bowl winner. Sorry.
Didn't you think
Right.
Mike's toe was perfectly healthy, and then it turns out he fractured his toe? Isn't that
I
an
was
instance of
drunk
like
for that
actual
instance.
actual bones lying to you? Like,
That's true.
Yeah.
Those are Mike's bones. It's not mine, bro.
Palmer. All right.
Never be the same.
Enough bone talk here. Wolves,
pause.
Tottenham.
Boss.
My God, this is getting sidetracked quick. We're moving. I'm not even going to close this one out. I'm just saying, Nottingham Forest, West Ham. West Ham just came off of a 6-0 loss. Nottingham Forest are shit. Seems like a good matchup for a good game. One team completely demoralized, the other team completely demoralized for two different reasons. One prolonged playing like shit, one just really playing like shit in one game. Gio Reyna has to start this game, right, Mike? Like, if Nottingham Forest are a serious club.
Yeah, dude. No, he doesn't have to start this game, and he's not going to start this game. Dude, it's just not going to happen. Why would it happen?
I assume they would like to get Gio on there and actually play him since they brought him in, but I don't know. I guess we'll certainly see. I think if Gio does not start
You
this
just
weekend,
killed his whole fucking vibe.
certainly
Listen,
the
think
panic
there's,
alarms will be ringing.
I think there's a better chance that Nuno Tavares scores a goal than Gio Reyna starting. So that's all I need to say on the matter.
Mike is big on just disrespectful, over the top things here today, but yeah, I do think
Flags.
panic bells will be ringing with Gio Reyna not starting.
Flags that you assume that Gio's going to start, but you know what they say about assuming. Flags doesn't know ball.
No ball knowledge.
I didn't even say. All right, we're getting wildly off track. Once again, just no transition. I'm just getting straight into the cleanup here. We have Newcastle versus Bournemouth. I think this is a cheeky good watch. Newcastle has not necessarily been anything like last year, where they were very solid defensively, and Bournemouth certainly has some attacking talent. Fellow Colombian, to you, Nico, Sinistera has been in some good form. They just made that move permanent coming over from Leeds United. Leeds, the X of American soccer fans. Then we have Fulham versus Aston Villa. As much as I love Fulham and Jedi Robinson, Tim Ream, seems like Aston Villa bounce back game. They're going to take some frustrations out on Fulham here, but with a left back that leads interceptions by about 20 interceptions, who knows what will happen with Fulham? They got the right player out there on the left flank. Sheffield versus Brighton. If Sheffield win 2 games in a row, fuck, something's wrong. We need to have panic alarms on just the earth. Something is wrong in the atmosphere, but it would be pretty entertaining to see, so I'll be rooting for them. And then finally, we have the team that was the slaughterers of West Ham. It is Arsenal, and they're going to be playing Burnley. Nick, if it was 6-0 versus West Ham, obviously that one had some more emotion in it. Is there a score prediction where you want to be as disrespectful as Mike has been on this pod to Burnley here?
Nah, I don't want to put a score prediction. It won't be 6-0. Those games only come around so often. 3-point collectors, baby. That's all I'm looking for this weekend. Should be. I'm not too worried. Let's put it that way. But honestly, just the form we're in, I'm just hyped up to watch the boys this weekend. Excited to see some good football being played, and I know where I can find it. So, shout out Arsenal Football Club.
Shout out Arsenal, the mighty Arsenal.
Arsenal.
Rumors of Mbappe being interested in Arsenal, although those rumors are
Heritage.
probably incorrect. We're still going to
Come on.
spread them anyways.
The
That
next
is
Henry,
good
heritage.
clickbait, and we love it.
Come
I'm going to get into our U.S. men's national team corner before we get into a new segment. Ooh, a new segment after that. The U.S. men's national team corner is going to be a bit shorter today. Sargent scored again today, missed a penalty, then decided to head it in. Man doesn't fuck with a penalty goal. He wants it from open play. I respect that. He gets his shit done.
I saw
Then we have the
someone.
MLS.
I saw someone tweet like, "I see you, Sergeant, trying to get your XG up." It was funny.
Yeah, he got 1.67 XG from the penalty that he missed
Oh
and
yeah.
then headed in. So he's getting his
Hell
XG
yeah.
up there. He's the Russell Westbrook of the championship. Next we have the MLS starting on February 21st. So it's coming up here. The first game will be Messi, Suarez, Jordi Alba, Busquets, and Benjamin Kromashki versus Real Salt Lake and Moonboy Diego Luna. Diego Luna versus Messi, I'm sure will be on everybody's minds there. But Messi has been having some struggles with injury. Mike, do you think he ends up making it to start that game, or are people in for a bit of a letdown?
Uh, dude, I bet he plays, right? He played the last preseason match for Indy Miami, right? The one
Yeah, I
after Hong
think
Kong.
at the very minimum, there's no way that Apple and MLS allow him to not play at least 30 minutes at the end. So they'd wheel him out there if they need to. They paid him way too much to not. They need
Yeah,
their subscription money.
this can be an interesting one to watch. I'm not giving too much weight to the preseason with Inter Miami not performing all that well, but that being said, the defense kind of looks like crap. They lost
Ass,
Kamal
yeah.
Miller in the offseason, who was, I think, their best defender. I mean, he's an international player. And they have some young dudes who are kind of playing out of position in the back. So I won't be surprised if they don't lock up the MLS like people who don't watch ball are saying.
Yeah, I think the big difference will be that when you're going to Saudi Arabia, you have some real quality players that are playing against them that are in mid-season, so can certainly make Miami in preseason without. I mean, they weren't really looking like they were trying too hard out there. So I think preseason
Cashy
don't
check.
read too far into it, but RSL is a good team. It could certainly make Miami have some panic around there in the media. Obviously, I don't think they're going to give a fuck about if they lose their first game or not because of the talent they have. But we do have a game for the U.S. to announce. It is the U.S. versus Colombia. And speaking of panic, it is right before Copa America, and there would certainly be some panic setting in if the U.S. does not look great against Colombia, a team that they'll certainly want to be on the level above, be on the level of, or if not above, for that tournament here. They're playing on June 8th. We will be doing a live stream of it here. Nick, as a Colombian fan, how do you see that game going?
Yeah, I'm expecting 3 points, boys. Shout out to the Americans, but I have zero faith in Greg Berhalter, and uh, as a man connected to my Colombian roots, excited that he is at the helm of USA for this Copa America. So, good talent. The talent I think is pretty even, honestly. Good players on both sides, but not a fan of what I'm seeing from Berhalter. So, nonetheless, going to be hype as hell to watch it together with the boys. Make sure to tune in live. We're going to do a little watch along. It'll be a good time. Someone's going to end up crying that stream, and hopefully it's not me.
Nick, will you be wearing a Donna Kelsey-esque split down the middle jersey, United States and Colombia hybrid? Is that going to happen?
I've heard
I
rumors it's
literally
happening.
have a Colombian tattoo. I am, my loyalties lie elsewhere, boys.
I
I
thought that
love
was
you
West
all.
Virginia.
And it's actually Texas. But I love you all. I love USA when we're not playing Colombia, but I'm supporting the boys.
Fair enough.
Well, I hope you have a terrible day that day. We will get into our next segment, and it is speaking on an interesting decision, maybe not decision, but idea that's been thrown around. It is the blue card which essentially if there's some type of dissent or cynical foul, they would give a player a blue card, which would take you off the pitch for 10 minutes. The stupidest idea. FIFA already came out and said, hey, we're not actually putting this in place. We're just thinking about it, which is just their way of saying, oh, fuck, we were going to put it in place and maybe, yeah, we're not going to do that. We were just, like, wait, come on, we were just tossing out an idea. But from that, we decided to make our own rule changes. One change to the rules that we would make. Nick, kick us off with what is the new rule for FIFA to implement here?
Listen, to the casual, there is absolutely nothing better in football than a penalty shootout. The anticipation that builds, the hype that goes, the meaning of every single kick, the walk up from the halfway pitch line to get there, the stare down between the goalie, and the run up with all the different, all of it. It is drama extraordinaire, and it is not featured enough in world football. A game that is the number one sport in the world, but you're always looking for new fans. I think we try to feature as much as possible. Let's get rid of these ties, boys. I am over it. Not really. I think it's fine. But I think penalty shootouts are better. Okay. I say we go hockey rules. Once if you're tied at the end of 90, no extra time. That will lead to more injuries. Not for it. But let's give each team a point, and then the third point is up for grabs in the penalty shootout. Get higher scoring tables, make it more competitive toward the end of the season, make a guy like Lucas Fabianski more valuable, who is supposed to be good at shootouts. So, listen, I think it's a home run. I don't see the downside to it. I think it would help the game.
That's what they did for the Leagues Cup, and definitely made Messi's run to that title a lot more entertaining than
Electric.
him getting
Yeah.
a random amount of draws. He ended up getting wins from it, so I definitely don't like it from like don't change what's not broken type thing, but like that would be pretty entertaining. Mike, do you agree? The entertainment value at least.
Definitely entertaining. I kind of love the mystique of a penalty shootout being reserved for tournament football. It makes it a whole different beast. And I do like the tie aspect of league play, but this would be perfect for like an offshoot league or like a non-top 5 league. Like if they did this in MLS, like
MLS,
it
yeah.
would make perfect sense. This is exactly for American fans. American fans don't know what a tie is, let alone the reasoning behind it. So set this up. Yeah, people would be like, "Oh fuck yeah, soccer's awesome." If they tie at the end of the game, they just start shooting at the goal from 5 yards out. This is sick. So
That's
yeah, it makes
that
perfect sense.
definitely works because that sounds amazing to me, and I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. So
There you go. Producer
Yeah.
P, stamp of approval. Nick, you have a winner.
Yeah. Honestly, I think MLS could certainly put that in. The other thing that MLS is actually putting in place is their proposed time wasting rules, and these I fucking love. They have like a lot of different intricacies in this, but essentially the thing is if you go down injured, to prevent time wasting where people just roll around on the ground, they're saying if you're going down and it stops play, you then have to be off the pitch for a minute. So not stupid. We're 10 minutes like a blue card, but 1 minute that if you're injured, you go off for 1 minute because you're not just going to roll around, hold your ankle after a perfectly fine challenge, and then all of a sudden stop the game for a minute and a half while you get treatment on something you don't need it on. Gets people off their feet, off their ass on the field so they get up and play again. Gets the game rolling, and I think it's a lot better than what they've done in the World Cup in Qatar, where all of a sudden you see like 13 minutes of out of time, and you're like, oh shit, all
that's
right,
that's like
damn,
very similar to my rule.
yeah. So I think that is good. There's a lot of intricacies about exceptions for head injuries or other things like that, where people would need to be on sooner or other things, but there's also substitutions. You need to be off the field by a certain amount of time. There's a whole lot of timings for all this, but just essentially making sure that people can't just squeeze every second out of the annoying shit that people do towards ends of games. Mike, are you for this, Or, I mean, I don't know really what the argument would be against it.
No, I love it. As a fan, it's great for the fans. There's nothing worse than long stoppages in the middle of the game and then getting towards the end and you have no idea how much longer you're going to be there. And it's kind of up to the discretion of the referee. They've been a little bit better about it with having exact times, but the way that it's recorded, it's still not known to the fans. It's still a discretion kind of thing. So yeah, this makes great sense, and I think it would improve continue of play.
Yeah.
There
And
is
Nick,
nothing there's nothing worse than seeing a guy roll around pretending to be injured when your team is chasing a goal. There's also nothing better than seeing one of your boys roll around and be like that. That's son of a bitch. He's doing it.
He's a
Attaboy. Stay
gamer. It's a
down.
game.
So I honestly, maybe this is the diehard kind of taking me, but I kind of appreciate the gamesmanship. Again, for the MLS, I think it's perfect. We're
That's a
trying to
shit
grow the
take.
game as much as possible in America. So I just like you hate Draymond Green when he's not on your team, but you love Draymond Green when he's on yours. So um there's a part of me that enjoys it, but overall, yeah, I think it's a good rule.
yeah, I think overall it's a pretty good rule. I think it's a better solution than just adding in a crazy amount of stoppage time at the end. I think it kind of nips the actual problem in the bud rather than just putting on random time for people doing the stupid shit in the first place. But Mike, let's get into yours. Yours is definitely an interesting one. I don't think it's as uh, commonly used. I don't think I've seen it used ever before. So run us through what you're thinking here. What are you cooking?
Yeah, I had two ideas. I'll just go with the first. I think it's a little bit more interesting, and that's an extra point for a clean sheet or an extra point for 3+ goals scored in a match. This would completely change how soccer's played. It would benefit the teams that pack it in the back, the Jose Mourinho tacticians of the world, where they just play to eke out a draw. Um, so that would benefit those teams. And then it would completely change the match when you go up 1 or you go up 2, and then instead of riding out a match, you're going for that third goal because it means an extra point. That's a huge thing. So it'd change up tactics. It'd be interesting, and you'd see teams play fully open for the entirety of a match. Or fully closed for the entirety of the match. It could go either way depending on what the strategy is that day. So yeah, that's kind of the idea I have. I think it's something that would be better for an offshoot league once again, but let me know what you think.
I, this would just drive me so fucking mad if Everton's finally safe of relegation and all of a sudden Luton Town wins 5-0 and gets fucking 18 bonus points and jumps us in the last week. There's just so many times, like, I think it would be great because you'd have so much hope if you're in second place and Man City's above and you're like, oh, fuck, we're down by 4 points here. We would need to win by 3 and get a clean sheet. And that happens. You'd be like 2-0. You'd be like everybody going fucking crazy for that third goal. But it'd also be so fucking annoying if all of a sudden somebody got 5 points because they got a 3-0 victory and you had some hard fought like 2-1 and you're like, oh my God.
Right.
Like, it would just be so frustrating. Nick, is that how you're seeing it? Are you fresh off that 6-0 victory? Like, yeah, let's fucking implement it. Arsenal top of the table.
Oh man, I'm conflicted. I like the clean sheet. I like trying to incentivize clean sheets a little bit more. I understand goal
Really?
difference already. I listen,
You
defender at
want
heart.
less
So
goals more than. Oh, okay. All right.
That's right.
defender at heart. I think there's been a loss in the passion and the art of defending, specifically from fullbacks recently. So I hate to see it. You know how I feel about Trippier and Trent to an extent. So um I it's a bad rule. It is, but I like where your head is at. The escalator though should be at 3 goals. It should be at goal difference. So like if you win 4-3, like both teams shouldn't get an extra point. It has to be at least 3, maybe even 4 goal difference to like keep it a little bit more heated. You know what I mean? So
Sure. Yeah.
um so instead of like 4-2 gets you an extra point, it'd have to be a 5-2 to get that 3 goal difference. Um I actually No, you can't do this role. You can't do this role.
Oh,
It'd
it
make
completely
everything so
changes the
confusing.
sport. Yeah.
Make everything so confusing. You can't do it.
But it would be like NBA All-Star type defense. If it was just 3 goals, nobody would give a fuck about defense. They'd just be thrown up there. If you get 3 points, you get the extra point, and clean sheets would be so hard to keep with everybody gunning for that. So you'd just be like, fuck it, let's just a 1-9 formation and just have all strikers up there just taking pot shots from anywhere to get some goals in.
By the way,
I don't
that's
know.
another great idea we didn't mention. All-Star games has to happen. Like
Also,
electric.
games would be dope. Yeah.
Give the boys a break.
Yeah.
Premier League is infamous, notorious for not getting breaks in the schedule for the boys. Get a winter break going like they have in other leagues. Let's play an all-star game, just pure shithousery. And the skills that would be on display would rival any all-star game in the world. It'd be so fun.
Yeah. Get rid of the International Champions Cup and do a
Yeah.
proper All-Star match. If the Premier League
yeah.
ever gets the equivalent of an XFL, I think this is where my rules come into play. It suits that kind of league.
I think the problem is they have an XFL, but it's far more developed. It's called the Championship. And then under that is League One,
Sunday
League
League.
Two.
Not the same. Not the same.
Yeah. Producer P, I feel nervous to hand over the mic. Speaking of new rules to you, but since you said it's close to mine, I'll trust you.
Yeah, I've got a full-on American gung-ho brain going for this one. Mine is actually very similar to what you mentioned earlier with if someone like gets hit, pretty lightly and is just fucking rolling around like he got shot. If you aren't actually hurt and it's pretty obvious a lot of the time, I think that you should be punished for that. And this is where I kind of went off the rails. I think that if the ref decides that you're faking your injury and you're being a bitch, the other team should get a PK. Straight up.
Oh my god.
The worst take of all time.
I love it, dude.
These
I love
games
it.
would end like 15-14.
Yeah, well,
None of them would be
legitimately,
30 goals.
people wouldn't roll around on the floor anymore.
I think we had 8 episodes in a row where we're just going in on how incompetent these refs are.
Yeah,
Like,
dude.
imagine if now all of a sudden they just give PKs because they're pissed off at a Decore for rolling around. Like, oh my god.
It would be
Somebody would
endless
get
content,
absolutely
bro.
stomped and then have
Try to
them
play
getting
through it.
stomped give up a penalty. Like there'd be players like that tear their Achilles by a stomp and all of a sudden be like limping around because they don't want to be on the ground.
Yeah,
The guy's like,
that's
"Nah,
the
you're
American
sorry.
way.
Getting off the ground.
That's the American
You're
way.
soft."
Don't be a pussy.
Any foul in the box will be a penalty no matter what. If it wasn't enough for a penalty for you, it's enough for a penalty for the other side.
Yep.
I love it.
Electric.
The fans would be on the edge of their seat.
My only other rule
No.
would be
Really?
like,
Refs would get murdered. Refs would literally get killed over that shit.
all right. Let's do this one instead then. Everyone wears padded goalie gloves, and you can punch other people during the game.
I think it's
If-
I think
that
it's
would be
Shane
entertaining.
Gillis.
If a
I don't know
fight
if it's
breaks
Shane
out,
Gillis.
then like have the refs go in, like hockey refs go in and break it up, or let them run their course and then be like, all right, you guys done?
Let them run their course.
Yeah, dude.
Have you ever seen a soccer player try to fight? These dudes do not know what a fight is.
Bro, they're gonna kick. That's their instinct. They don't need gloves.
We need goons on every team. We need an enforcer on every team.
Erling Haaland just absolutely
just a
leveling
dude that's
person.
not afraid to fucking run somebody over and then stare him down afterwards.
Let's just allow full contact, shoulder to shoulder. Who cares? Do
Yeah.
anything. Shoulder to the back, shoulder to the chest.
How about
No
one
form. Just
player,
run through somebody.
one
It's called
player
rugby.
for each game, and it's randomized every game. But one player on each team gets a knife. you get
No, dude, a
one
baton. A baton.
You get one knife in the season and then you're done. but you always gotta be careful about that one knife.
I thought you were gonna say
I also
one
like the-
player gets to just be reckless. They can foul as much as they want, as physical as they want, tackle people. but the other team at the start of the game doesn't know. So you kind of hold it back and wait for a big moment, and then just all of a sudden, just Ed Reed, bang, just
You don't know who it is the whole
knock him
game.
out. And the ref,
Yeah,
only the
there's a
ref
take.
knows. So the ref doesn't call shit for that person, but everything else normal.
There's a take that the part of my take guys have at Barstool that it's like each year each player should be allowed to fight one fan with no consequences. I love
Yeah,
that
That's
take.
a great take.
You get just one, but these fans sometimes, bro, you get one each year. Choose it wisely.
We are also in talks to have a collab pod with them as well.
yes, also.
Yes, yeah.
We're working out the
We're
numbers.
hesitant on our end. We don't know if it'll do for our brand. We
Yeah.
think we might be a
Yeah,
bit too big.
They make some interesting
And
takes.
people are talking to each other. You know what I mean?
We run a family-friendly podcast here, so yeah, gotta keep it clean.
Yeah. Gotta keep it clean and gotta keep it to our locks of the week now. I've gotten a lot of shit for my lock of the week. All of a sudden, if somebody gets something wrong, it's the end of the fucking world. Although I haven't gotten as many wrong as the other two that will not be named, but all of a sudden, some shit has been talked. But we go into the locks of the week. We can go through the results here. Brentford versus Wolves. Brentford end up winning, not 3-1. So Nick gets 1 point. I do not get a point, as was very highly publicized by certain co-host of a certain podcast for
Red.
what
The
I
color is
think,
red.
Red.
no damn reason. And Mike, 3-1.
Not quite,
Not
eh?
enough. Not enough. You get the right result, but they doubled your goals, and West Ham did not even get the one for you.
They didn't get close
So-
to getting the one. No.
No, they were a bit outdone in that game. We move to our locks of this week, and this one I feel pretty comfortable about. It is Manchester City 3, Chelsea 0. Yeah. As much as I got on Mike for disrespecting them, I don't have much faith in our Blues.
It's not disrespect. I'm just speaking facts, and sometimes they come off a little harsh.
Yeah, well, Man City
Yeah.
is going to beat Chesley 3-0.
Chesley.
Come on, Chesley.
Oh, I didn't even
The
realize.
mighty Blues of
Um,
Chesley.
Listen, dude, I'm fucking
The
producing
Chesley.
over here. All right,
that
I'm
a type
leaving
of
it to
tea?
What
you.
does that mean?
I'm
What
leaving.
the hell does that mean?
I'm making sure you motherfuckers look decent while I'm doing this.
That's not happening. Nick,
Right.
who do you have in your lock this week? I see you've also gone with a disrespectful scoreline, I think.
Maybe. Revenge game in full. Give me Villa 4, Fulham 1. Fulham's actually been playing decent lately, so that might be disrespectful, but I thought Villa played pretty well last weekend. They're gonna be upset they didn't get the win. So there's not two words, Bob. It's just one word.
Fulham
no way.
Chesley.
Full ham. So yeah, I got the villains winning big. Yeah. Making up ground.
Nah, Jedi will absolutely shut them down. I know it. Mike, to close us out on the locks of the week, what are you going with?
I am taking the boys. I'm taking the Toffs. Everton 1, Crystal Palace 0. Got to ride with your own team. And I would like for them to win by more, but I just don't know where the goals are going to come. So I'll keep it at a reasonable scoreline of 1-0.
It's a nice conservative guess there. I like it. Back in the boys in blue.
Bonus points with the clean sheet.
Yeah.
Bonus point. They get a bonus point there. I don't
That's
think.
right.
Oh, Man City would get the bonus point for the 3. Villa would get the bonus point as well. So, damn, a whole lot of bonus points via Mike's rules. Here.
Dude, we should put these rules in our locks. We should do that next year. That'd be electric.
Keep our own Premier League table.
That'd be
Keep our
so
own
fucking
table,
hard to keep track
Crown
of.
our own
bro.
champion.
Just make
Yeah, we
Palmer
would-
do it. Just-
We would
Just be like,
100%
"Alright, go figure
need-
it out, pal."
Yeah, I think with an Excel function, I'm sure it would get somewhat easy-ish.
I don't know if
How
you
about
noticed,
Palmer-
but this isn't Excel.
I mean, it's sheets. It's the same shit. They both have the same functions.
Can you add formulas on sheets?
Are you serious?
I've never used
You
sheets.
see where it says formula?
This is the first time I've used. Is that this?
It's
Function,
legitimately
yeah.
just Excel.
Okay.
Yeah, we have not given Palmer shit for individually highlighting these colors.
What?
What do you mean?
Yeah. What?
It's got to be a way to just make it automated, right?
No
Like
shot.
put in an
I
L
mean,
or a
that
W, and
seems-
it gives.
Oh well, maybe yeah. I guess.
You know what I mean?
I mean, that seems
feel
like a
like-
waste of time to figure out that function. To be
I
fair,
agree. I feel like my
He's
way's
doing
working. I do want to
plenty.
figure out how to make this like your score instead of B, C, and D. But I haven't taken the time to do that yet. So
I'm pretty sure you can just lock the top column that has our names and whatever. But hey, listen, this is an after pod talk. Palmer, you have a question for us here to end our pod out.
Oh, do I? All right. I thought we were skipping that.
The question is, how are you guys doing today?
The question is, Mike, who's dead and who's playing this
Ed,
weekend?
here's the question.
Someone tell me who's dead. I really don't know.
Everybody in the comments, let us know who's dead and who's playing this weekend. Subscribe, follow. We're getting some traction here. So hey, if you're a day one, you're a day one. If you're a day, I don't know, 41 at this point. We're pretty far into this in terms of episodes. We love you just as much as the day ones, but maybe a little less. But until next time, we've been the boys. We've been the Ninos. This has been Footy, and we've been Cone. Peace.
Up the toffees.
Oh my god.